I think I will use English language because there might be some people needing the larger language than Finnish. I am Harri Kulmala, CEO of DIMECC, and I will tell you the story of Finnish additive manufacturing ecosystem that was launched this September, so about 3 months ago. There was a study in 2019 which was funded by Business Finland, and the study was carried out by Etteplan, and it was about additive manufacturing related to HX program, meaning the fighter attacker replacement program, which is going on in the Finnish Air Forces. And the participants of the analysis related to the additive manufacturing situation in Finland, the participants represented companies, universities, research centers, and of course Finnish Defense Forces. And there was one significant outcome of this study, which had not only to do with the military interests, but also ordinary commercial civil side business interest. And it was that Finland was 1 year ago lacking an ecosystem which would bring all the shareholders, all the stakeholders, and all the related parties together to share information and to create co-development projects in the whole country, not regionally, but in the whole country, since Finland is a small country. And an interesting benchmarking information was that in most of the other countries, especially in Europe, such a commercial ecosystem for businesses is existing already. And then there was in the winter 2020, there was discussions between public side, meaning Ministry of Employment and Economy and Business Finland, and the private side, meaning companies. There was the discussion whether additive manufacturing needs a business ecosystem to enlarge the market, to enrich the offering, and to open the discussion forum not only to academics, but also to companies, and especially to very small companies, which quite often are startups from the academia. So this kind of ecosystem was decided to be established, and we opened some workshops in the spring 2020 where we framed what would such an ecosystem do, and possibly what would the vision of this kind of ecosystem be, and what is not in the focus of such an ecosystem. So the ecosystem as such was not needed because there is a lot of competence, there is a lot of research knowledge already in Finland. This is not to be added through the ecosystem, but the target very soon happened to be enlarging the market, increasing the additive manufacturing utilization rate in industry, increasing the volumes, replacing possibly some old-fashioned designs and old-fashioned production methodologies, and changing the educational paradigm in Finland so that early in the studies, the students would start thinking as additive manufacturing way, thinking like 3D printing, thinking that something is not designed and manufactured with the conventional methods, but with totally new technologies. So basically, the challenge was that the application field develops very fast globally, and no company in Finland was that big that they could proceed alone, but they need some cooperation. And state of play in Finland was that we were lacking a professionally facilitated national-wide business-driven co-creation ecosystem. And then we asked quite openly, we contacted companies which we know that have needs and offering in this sector, we asked them to join the ecosystem. And we ended up to a setup where we have 21 members. I think in this seminar, participants of FAME members are present, and that's very good. And there are many people, many participants who might think that our company maybe should be member of FAME. To all of you, I would like to inform that this is very open ecosystem. No single company has a veto right to keep anybody out, and we quite openly say that all the competitors, they can be in and they must be in. And this is also the structure of this kind of public-private partnership structure, because the Ministry of Employment and Economy, they provide 50% of the funding for FAME. And this 50% is given only if the ecosystem is totally open. Of course, the ones who are members, they have to accept the rules. So 50% of the funding is private. If there is a company willing to be member, but not willing to pay any of the costs, that's not okay. So it's not for free, but it's open for anybody who is willing to invest and cover the cost from their side. So you can see that all the sizes of companies are participants. There are really big global players like Andritz or Valmet in. There are really small companies, startups, and they cover the whole value chain from design to machine manufacturing to machine sales to printing services and specific specialist services to run an ecosystem. So basically, it covers the whole value chain of additive manufacturing. And what do we do? The ecosystem management, which is organized around the members, forming the ecosystem management board. The ecosystem management board will decide upon the vision, the strategy, how to reach the vision, and the roadmap, what things to do in which of the years. So this ecosystem management work is done by the ecosystem partners, the members, and they organize themselves as management board, having meetings at least once a month. The ecosystem activities, they are facilitated by DIMECC. We have an ecosystem lead and a team behind the leader to carry out the tasks. And the tasks include everything from creating research, development, and innovation programs, which is, by the way, a great opportunity for all the universities and universities of applied sciences. When you have programs, it's possible, project ideas, it's possible to run through with the FAME members. We can provide a lot of companies who are interested in and who might be even willing to invest in. And then we will concretely, tangibly focus on pilots and proof of concepts. We will, for example, invest in common resources, and they will be invested to especially to private sector. But there are also talks whether we could utilize the equipment and facilities of universities and universities of applied sciences for the business purposes. This calls for some investment planning, and this calls for some funding planning, and also participation rule planning, because this must not destroy the existing research programs and research purposes of the facilities. And this must be really business oriented. The companies must be flexible and they must have flexibly available capacity to run through some of their small scale pilots. Whatever the activities in the ecosystem are, they are decided by the ecosystem members together with the ministry, and they are prioritized, and we will not do what our company DIMECC as such decides. We will do where the members will focus their funding, focus their investment. This is the group of 7 work packages that has been designed to the FAME. The strategic direction is, as I mentioned, management board work. Then there will be a huge number of new market creation based initiatives, events, and marketing and sales efforts to enlarge and increase the additive manufacturing business volume in Finland, not only so that the Finnish manufacturers 3D print more, but also that the smaller service providers could participate in export industry. They could directly export, not only to sell to Finnish companies. The inspiration and sharing work package number 3, it's about joint facilities and equipment for ecosystem-wide testing and piloting, 3D printing experience sharing, material and knowledge support. This will be something that we now call as a library type database for materials knowledge. I do not know in detail where this work package goes in the future, but it will be about gathering nationally the understanding of materials and their behavior in 3D printing processes. The paradigm shift in design, this is that the FAME business ecosystem will influence the educational institutes. We will discuss, for example, in the rectorats of the universities, how 3D printing and additive manufacturing should be increased as their role in the education. And the first university where we have already agreed to do this discussion and give the industrial input to university education is Lappeenranta. We will continue with other universities, but Lappeenranta is the first where we start from. Competence and knowledge building work package 6 will be about research, development and innovation programs. And those who know the history of DIMECC, you know that we have been running for 13 years large-scale research and development programs. We have them ongoing at the moment for several areas, and 3D printing will be the next one. And future services, I do not know what kind of services will pop up, but it's very clear that in years to come, this ecosystem will create some new services. We work in a very business-oriented way, quarterly road mapping, annual road mapping, and performance measurement. Have we reached what should be reached? And in the management board, there's also a representative from the Ministry of Employment and Economy, and they will decide annually upon the public funding. They will benchmark and measure whether we have reached the targets that the government of Finland has for such activities. And just to give you an idea, what is the investment? This is the partnership table introducing how we have divided the members in 3 categories: large and mid-cap companies, medium and small cap companies, and support members. And they all pay something, totally different sums, different volumes, and they get different kinds of rights to steer the budget and steer the ecosystem. But the basic information is that this is open, and open only for those who are willing to invest. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions also in the later phase. If you want to send questions, please, it's Harri Kulmala @dimecc.com.